Let's start with the hard truth. Some of your worst business problems didn't come from bad marketing. They came from saying yes to the wrong client. And the wildest part is that most of the red flags were there before the contract was signed. We just didn't know how or when to look for them. So today we're talking about why vetting a client before you take them on isn't optional, what to look for, how to research them, and the behind-the-scenes checks successful business owners quietly do that no one talks about.
Hey, lady bosses, are you working even after putting the kids to bed but still not getting results?
Are you tired of spending money on ads that aren't getting engagement?
Do you feel burdened that you aren't fulfilling your purpose in life because you are so consumed with work?
I'm your host, Brooke Boltz. I'm an attorney and founder of Boltz Legal. I started my business and in 1 year was bringing in 7 figures and am now bringing in multi-7 figures.
And I'm your co-host, Rachel Boltz, owner of Boltz Media. I've helped many businesses build their online presence and increase their revenue through digital marketing.
Want to hear how we did it?
We are here to help you achieve your goals personally, professionally, and spiritually.
So kick off your high heels, sit back, and let's ignite that passion.
We're Miss Biz, where we're putting the Miss in biz.
Let's get biz done.
Recently, Brooke was interacting and posting on our Miss Biz Nation page, which if you're not on, I highly recommend that you join today. And she was asking our audience, our listeners, and our friends what kind of topics that they would find value in. And one of our members, Randall Alexander, mentioned the importance of vetting your clients. And this really resonated with me. I thought that this was something that's not spoken about a lot, but it's highly beneficial. So we wanted to create an episode for you today with some tips and tricks of different things that you should consider when hiring on, or when retaining a new client rather. So most people think that vetting is about if you like them, if they can afford your services, if it feels aligned, and all of that really is surface level. Real vetting is about protecting your time, your reputation, your legal exposure, personal safety, and peace. Because really, one bad client, it can drain months of your time. It can create legal liability for your business. It can cost you referrals. It can tie up your cash flow, or even worse, it can put you in actual danger. So Brooke, with you owning and operating Boltz Legal, I know that you have a level of vetting that occurs. So what are some of the biggest vetting questions for you?
So it's interesting because I realized that we don't really vet our clients individually much. We're more vetting their case. So we're looking at the evidence and photos and just statements and police reports and looking at the evidence to decide if they have a good case. We don't really vet the client so much, but we probably should. And I will say that we have noticed one red flag that seems to has later demonstrated that client turned into a problem client, and it was when someone complained about or asked for modifications to our initial contract. And the reason I say this is because our contract, my contract, we use the same one for hundreds of clients. Clients do not pay for my service out of their pocket. I'm paid a percentage of the settlement. So there's not a whole lot to complain about whether they hire me or they hire any other personal injury law firm. The contract's going to look really similar, and the percentages are going to look really similar, if not the same. It's just very standardized in our industry, what the contract looks like. And they really have nothing to lose. All they have to do is gain because they're not paying me out of their pocket. So when someone is like nitpicking every word in the contract, we just have noticed that down the road, they turn into that high maintenance client that ends up taking more of our time than the value that case is bringing to the firm.
Yeah, I mean, that's such a great point, and just a great thing that you guys have been able to identify that and kind of make sure that you're staying true to your standard operating procedures to avoid that time. And I know also with your homeowner insurance disputes, there's a level of vetting to make sure that the client hasn't already made a claim or received a settlement for the same date of loss, correct?
Yeah, or for a prior storm. I mean, a lot of times we find out we sign someone up for a hurricane, for example, and then we find out that 2 months before that, they made a claim for the same damage from a run-of-the-mill thunderstorm. So those kind of things, some of the things we just can't know about until we sign up the client, and then the insurance company tells us. But we do ask the questions to do our best to make sure that there's a solid case there before we sign them up. But even as we're talking, I'm realizing we take on a lot of cases where it's we don't know if the case is going to be very strong, but we're like, well, we'll try and see. we do that for a lot of people, and it's like, what does it hurt? It's some of our time, of course, spent. A lot of law firms maybe would just turn them away. And this is maybe something that I'm going to have to look at, whether we continue to do that or not, or cut our losses and just turn away the client. Because I'll say most of those times when it's questionable, it doesn't end up yielding a settlement. And so we just spent a bunch of time for nothing. I don't know, and I don't know if the client appreciates it to say, well, thank you for trying. I don't know if they appreciate it or if they're disgruntled that they didn't get the outcome they were hoping for.
Right.
So.
Right. Yeah, so I think it's important to really look for those red flags for your business. If anything seems off or feels off, don't just disregard it. Make sure that you're looking into it so that you can make the best decision for your business.
We are looking for young people.
That's creepy.
Not like that. We're looking for young, inspiring entrepreneurs or professionals.
They must be located in the Orlando area because we want to give them the chance to be on Miss Biz.
We are looking for 3 inspiring young professionals under the age of 30 that we can interview on the Miss Biz podcast.
So don't hide your kids or your wife. Nominate them today. Comment the word young professionals and we'll send you the nomination form. Let's get biz done.
For me, with my agency, I own a digital marketing agency. One of the most important aspects to consider is the company even legitimate, or am I dealing with a scammer? And one of the things, and why this is important, is because I've had people approach me about selling their products, and they were not legit at all. And so I kindly declined them. But had I taken them on or just been like, I don't care, they were going to pay me very well. Had I just kind of disregarded that, who knows what would have happened to me? I mean, that's a huge risk for my industry. So one of the ways that you can make sure that somebody is legit and you're not dealing with a scammer is to check their domain age. You can also make sure that their names match across multiple platforms. You can look to see if they have a physical address. That's something else that's really important. And you can, so how to check for the domains is there's Whois, where you can look up the information from the domains.
How do you spell that? Do you know?
It's WHOIS. You can find a lot of information about domains there. You can also Google the business name and type in scam or complaint to see if they have any scams or complaints.
You could maybe look at the Better Business Bureau.
Yeah.
See if they're on there.
Absolutely.
Did you say the Secretary of State, the Department of Business
I'm not sure
Regulation?
if I did, but yeah.
So in Florida, it's sunbiz.org.
Yes.
You can look up and see how long they've been in business and who the operators are, who the president, etc., and other officers are. So
Yeah. And I mean, if they can't clearly explain what they do, then that can kind of tell you right there that maybe you need to do some additional research to see if they're legitimate or not.
So something that people don't realize is that researching someone before the discovery call actually improves conversion.
Yes.
So it's not only to protect yourself against wasting time on someone who's not going to be a good prospect, but it's also if they pass the check that you do, then it increases your chance of conversion when you do have that call.
Yes.
Because you have better questions. They're going to be impressed by the fact that you know information about them. I always am impressed when someone has done their homework and knows about me or my business. You control the conversation, you identify objections before they surface, and you don't waste time on non-buyers.
Yeah, so ways you can research before the call, obviously, is their website or lack of one, their reviews. You can also check their social media page. You can check any press or legal issues that they might have had by even just Googling them. And paying attention to what they're saying too. If they're speaking poorly about any other vendor or agency that they've used, that can kind of be a red flag for you too. I know sometimes people will come to me and they've had a bad experience with other marketing agencies. So I really try to listen to see like what their previous experience entailed. You know, was it something that the marketing agency did incorrectly, or did the client have unrealistic expectations, or was the client wanting more than the contract that they signed?
Yeah, when someone comes to me and they say, I already have a lawyer, but
Yeah.
it's a huge red flag because, or I had a lawyer, but they dropped me. Mm-hmm. I'm like, well, why did they drop you? I need to know more about that. Because when they've been dropped, they don't want to tell you that reason they were dropped.
Right.
So, but I can usually tell because they know certain things that they wouldn't know.
Right.
If they hadn't talked to a lawyer before. So I'm like, have you already had a lawyer who dropped you? And then they're like, yes. And then I dive into that, because if one lawyer dropped them, then the chances are their case just isn't viable.
Right.
But they won't always tell you that, and you can waste a bunch of time. One other thing you can do in your research to just check if they've been involved in lawsuits is going to the clerk of court in the county where the business is located or the person resides. For example, Seminole County Clerk of Court, you can go there, you can go to the case search, and you can search the name of the business or the name of the individual, and any lawsuits they've been a part of. It'll also show criminal history, criminal court, even sometimes it'll show traffic infractions too. So that's a good tool. You have to look it up county by county. So if there's someone who has a wide area or territory, something might not come up in that county, and then they actually had something in a different county. So it would be time intensive if you had to search a bunch of counties, but it's a good way to see if they've been sued by creditors,
Right.
or sued by clients, or have criminal history.
Yeah. Or you can even get like a background checker. I think they have some pretty affordable options that you can pay for each month, and those are really beneficial because those will pull information from other states. So even if you're like, let's say you're in Florida and you're looking at all of the surrounding counties, you're going to miss something if something occurred in another state. So those background checkers are very helpful.
Do you love the Miss Biz podcast?
Because we love you.
Here's 3 things you can do to show your support.
1, write us a review. Apple, Spotify, and Google My Business are the best platforms to write a review.
2, follow us on social media. Our handle is @MissBizPodcast.
3, join our Facebook group, Miss Biz Nation, for exclusive content and behind-the-scenes footage. Also, ask questions related to your business and discuss topics from our episodes.
For in-person meetings, safety is an important part of vetting. So for example, if I'm meeting someone in person, I usually have like an extra layer of protection because I don't want to end up in a body bag on the side of I-4 for a discovery call. So a lot of times what I'll do is I have like my sister squad is what we call each other, and we all share each other's locations. So I'll tell if I'm meeting them at their office, I'll tell them to check the locations and see where I'm at. Otherwise, I'm always trying to meet them at another public location, like a Starbucks or somewhere, like a restaurant or something like that, where we can just be around a lot of other people. And you always want to trust your intuition as well. If you don't feel safe meeting them at their warehouse in the middle of the boonies, like don't meet them there. Ask them to come meet you somewhere in a centralized location because your safety is always a priority.
Right. So you can also look at professional networking platforms or social media platforms as well, just to get an idea of who the person is before you meet with them. And also, those kind of things are going to tell you what they enjoy doing.
Yes.
It'll tell you a lot about them if they're active on it. And so it's just a good idea to do for safety reasons, but also to get to know your client and build that relationship. So red flag, of course, is if they're pushing for a private location, odd meeting times, or secrecy. Rachel, I don't know if I'm supposed to say this, but Rachel had a client one time that wanted her personally to come to every video shoot, and if she said, hey, just my videographer is coming, I'm not coming, they would cancel.
Yes.
They would cancel.
100%. And they always wanted to meet me at night, too.
Yeah, after hours.
Yes.
Yeah, so that was a red flag. Yeah.
Definitely.
You're not the videographer,
no,
so...
there was no point in me being there.
Yeah. They would cancel immediately.
Yeah. Yeah, that's hilarious. I forgot about that. So some other things that you really should be checking, and honestly most businesses don't check, is payment behavior. Late payers don't become early payers, so being able to see like that transactional history is important. Also, kind of looking into how they've worked with other vendors before is important. Some projects you should require deposits for. That way you can obviously have something safeguarding you, but you can also see what their reaction is. If they're reacting weird to a deposit, then maybe that might not be a good fit. You can look at who actually signs, who actually pays. You can look at, are they buying results or a magic wand? Like, is this going to be, kind of like an expectation versus reality thing? Like, is this something that you can actually do for them? Do they understand timelines? Are they emotionally regulated? And one red flag is everybody failed me, but you'll be different. That's something that you can kind of just archive and store. And just, some other things to consider are they known in your industry? You can ask other people in your field if they've heard or dealt with that person before. Because sometimes those things can really give you a lot of warning that you wish you would have known otherwise.
Yeah. So the final takeaway is that vetting isn't about being suspicious, it's about being strategic. So the best business owners and business professionals and business leaders ask better questions, they do quiet research, they trust data and intuition, and they understand that saying no is a profit strategy.
Yeah, because the right clients don't just pay you, they respect you, they protect you, and they help your business grow. And the wrong ones, they cost way more than they're worth.
We appreciate you and are honored to be on this journey with you. We can't wait to help you to encourage you and show you how to grow personally, professionally, and spiritually.
If you found Miss Biz helpful, please leave a review and share with others.
You can follow us on social media at Miss Biz Podcast.
For legal questions or services, please visit boltzlegal.com.
And for digital marketing needs, please visit boltzmedia.com. Let's get biz done.